So, Raven, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I'm going to ask you some personal questions, okay?
All right.
All right. So, you're on the spectrum, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you were given your diagnosis, what was exactly the diagnosis?
The diagnosis was
Okay, and what does that mean?
it means that
Okay. Do you live with your parents, right? Okay, so both your parents, are they your guardians? Do they take care of all your business and whatnot, or do you?
um
Okay, that's not what I asked. What I
oh
mean is, can you say sign for car insurance? Sign. Are you permitted to get a loan? Are you able to join the military if you wanted to, or would you need your parents' permission to do these things? Okay, if you were to sign for a loan, would your parents need to sign for it as well, or just you? Might be or would be, because there's a difference there. That tells me your parents probably do have some form of control over you because you are on the spectrum. Do you have a driver's license? Why do you not have a driver's license? Okay, my question is why though? Why did you not do that? Okay,
Excuse me.
I'm not going to go further on that. I'm asking for a reason, Lumi, before you interrupt.
I was going to ask what the relevance of being able to drive was.
I told you I'm asking that for a reason. Can you please let me work here? Thank you. I'm asking you these questions because I'm trying to determine as best I can where you are mentally, because I know even with high functioning autism, sometimes their brain is closer to the cognition of a child. Their brain is closer to the cognition of a child. So I need you to be honest with me. At any point, did any doctor tell you that you have cognition at a certain age or that your mind is at a certain age specifically?
Okay, I'm just jumping in right now. I've muted Lyle and I'm gonna talk and then I'm gonna go. Cause I have a few more minutes. I was listening in. Questions are too personal, irrelevant. It doesn't matter. You don't need to answer anything. You don't need to, Raven, because at the end of the day, we're strangers on the internet. So I'm gonna lay some ground rules for this call. It doesn't matter. Raven's here talking. You're not yelling or shouting at anyone. You're here to listen to people. So, therefore, I say the best course of action is for a call is to just lay out what was wrong with the actions, and give an explanation on how best to avoid this kind of situation in the future. Does everyone agree with that?
I agree with this. Also, Aaron, Lyo stepped down from the stage.
There we go. I'm your old man. Lyle,
Here.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Right, I don't want to come in here, like, angry. I don't want to come in here yelling. But I personally think it was going a bit too far. Like,
It's very obvious to me that my thought processes aren't trusted here. I'm just going to say that outright.
It's not about trust. It is not about trust at all.
Stop.
Are you cutting me off again?
No, go ahead. I'm not trying to, Lumi. I'm trying to explain my thought process here.
Yeah, but like...
Okay.
Hold on, Hidden. You don't let me finish what I'm saying, and then you're cutting me off again?
I just said that I don't think I'm trusted, and I was trying to expand, and you interjected. I was just trying to finish my thought.
Alright, in that case, I'll apologize. I'll back away, but... We do trust you. We do. If we didn't, we wouldn't be so open to tell you if you have a problem with something.
Name one other person you have had, or if anybody else here is muted in the middle of a gallery call in front of 100 people.
Would you prefer I kept my mouth shut and let that continue?
What I would prefer is to be treated with some civility, because frankly, the person who put those people in danger was treated with more civility than I was in that call.
How so? Because I told you? That you were going too
I'll
far with
expand.
something? Go on.
You did not come in and say I was going too far. You came in and asked for the relevancy, which I was
Yeah.
trying to state. And then Aaron comes in, server mutes me, embarrasses me in front of 100-something people instead of just talking to me, because Aaron's been micromanaging me for the past 3 days now because they're scared. And apparently I'm a screw up. So that's what they do.
Managing. I wouldn't call it micromanaging personally, because I do not see the relevance of being.
I know, I'm breaking up.
No. Look. I wanna. Okay, relevance, right? How is being able to drive a car relevant to being cognizant and being able to understand things? How is that a sign of it?
I literally you in a call. I literally said that.
You are breaking up and I cannot understand you.
In that call, heard what I was trying to do. You're gonna have to tell me.
Yeah, I can hear you better now. I genuinely could not hear you, and I want to have this conversation and make it as productive as possible, so I do need to understand you to be able to have that conversation.
I know. I'm not blaming you for my connection issues. That would be really stupid. I explained in plain English in that call why I was going that direction. I made it abundantly clear why I was. And instead of that being respected and understood, I had somebody come in the call, talk down to me, server mute me, and treat me like a child again. I am sick and tired of being told how I'm trusted when I clearly am not.
Okay, but like, because you're trusted doesn't mean you're not going to be corrected if you do something that somebody else thinks is wrong.
There's a difference between correction and intentionally embarrassing somebody in front of 100+ people.
That was not the intention, and we both know it.
I don't know, Lumi.
I do.
Both know it. No, we don't.
I do.
We don't know that.
I do.
I could give you my thought process, but your mind's made up, so I'm not going to.
Okay, but just for a second, I just want to bring this up because I think it's important. The reason that these questions were stopped, because we all understand the intention. That's not the problem. The intention was you wanted to figure out how much their autism is affecting their ability to make decisions. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Like, the baseline of those questions are absolutely okay. The problem is, the further you went on, you started asking questions that have incredibly bad implications.
Use a different mic.
I'm fucking tired. We're using my phone speaker, whatever.
That works. Go for it.
Okay, so my point was being that when you ask these questions, the implication behind these questions gives people the wrong idea. Asking something like, do you have a driver's license? And then getting the answer no, and then going, but why? Gives people the implication that since you're asking whether or not they're able to, or since you're asking to determine whether or not they can function properly, basically with that question, what you're saying is, oh, if you don't have a driver's license and you can't drive, you are unable to function.
So instead of DMing me and asking me to check my DMs, that happens? None of you would have done that for anybody else. Nobody would have hopped on that call and server muted me and embarrassed me for anybody else. None of you would have done that to Aaron. None of you would have done that to Lumi.
Oh, no. You do not get to say that about me because we both know Aaron would have server muted me. Aaron would be chewing me out right now if I had pulled anything like that. Aaron's a lot harder on me than you think.
I didn't say anybody without Aaron. My point was, it wouldn't have happened with the rest of you.
It would have.
No, I don't think it would.
Yes, if any of us had done the same, the treatment would be exactly the same. If I disagree with anyone on staff, I'm happy to DM them and tell them. But if it's happening in the moment, and when I poke it, and I'm like, hey, I don't know what the relevance of this is, hey, implying, hey, we should stop it here, and you continue, like, hey, no offense, I can't exactly blame Aaron if the conclusion they came to was, okay, he's not going to stop, I might have to server mute him.
Because I was explaining the reasoning for it. And instead of Aaron coming in and saying, check your messages or anything like that, that happens. And no, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about the intention there because Aaron has absolutely intentionally embarrassed me before, and I know why. You may not believe it, but I do.
Yes, I have more trust in Aaron than you then. Because I know that Aaron's not the type to go around fucking
Thank
publicly.
you for the backhanded insult. I appreciate that.
Damn, thanks for cutting me off again.
I apologize.
Making a new habit of it? Because you've been doing that again recently. Think I haven't noticed? Think people haven't pointed it out to me?
You think I'm doing it intentionally?
Somehow it only happens to me.
If I may, I will say this, that Lumi did, like, I jumped in call with Lumi after that call happened, and Lumi was very open with me about things I did wrong in that call. It's not just criticism of you, it's, like, Lumi is very upfront with anyone else, and just did the same for me literally, like, 10, 15 minutes ago.
I ended the stage so we wouldn't drag it on either. Because I knew that if I ended the stage sooner, we'd be able to get into the call faster and we'd be able to talk about it.
Problem isn't criticism. The problem is how it was handled. Because if I had done that to Aaron, there would be a complete meltdown I'd be dealing with right now. We both know that. That's why I left the call altogether. Because if I'm not going to be respected, if I'm not going to genuinely be trusted, and let's be clear here, I wasn't at the moment, then why am I there? And if Susie comes to me now and says that she doesn't want to do this incident anymore because of that call, I wouldn't even blame her. Aaron is stressed and gun shy because of the Rosa call circulating. So he has been overcorrecting, and he has been needling me and micromanaging everything I say and do publicly for the past few days now. It's why I was accused of defending the Rosa call when my text literally said the exact opposite, and accused of ableism because Aaron is overcorrecting.
No, okay, hold on.
That call,
Okay, well.
that call should not have been a kumbaya call. It should not have been a let's go ahead and hold your hand, or even do what they were doing. They were cognizant of it. The reason why I went so hard on the driving thing was to determine whether or not she was lying to me about her guardianship, because we've already dealt with people who have done that before. And I already caught her in 2 lies previously. It wasn't to devalue whether or not people drive. I couldn't care less. It was to find out if she was lying about the reason.
How does driving fall into that? How? Explain it to me so it can make sense beyond, frankly, coming across as just coming out of nowhere. Explain it to me then.
Because there's a lot of people on the spectrum that I have dealt with who have tried to get driver's license, and their parents put a stop to it because they are on the spectrum. And because they have legal guardianship, they are capable of doing so. That's why.
But would that person even know that that's why it was put to a stop to? If they're a guardian? If there's
Yeah.
guardianship on them?
Yeah, they would. They would know. You kind of have to be pretty blunt about that. And if Raven can do commentaries, they can put 2 and 2 together to that point.